police! Stay on the ground!
Officer, I'm James Mitchell, former Marine. I stopped the armed robbery. The suspect is detained. The weapon is on the counter.
Officers, yes, this man saved us. The robber...
I said don't move! Hands where I can see them!
A decorated Marine veteran stops an armed robbery at a convenience store, uses his military training to disarm the gunman, detains him without injury, secures the weapon. When police arrive, they see a black man restraining a white man. They arrest the veteran, release the armed robber, hold the hero for over an hour while the actual criminal sits in the same holding cell. This is Sergeant James Mitchell, 34 years old, served 12 years in the United States Marine Corps. 3 combat deployments, 2 in Iraq, 1 in Afghanistan, Purple Heart, Bronze Star, Combat Action Ribbon, Honorably Discharged, Expert Marksman, Hand-to-Hand Combat Instructor, trained in proper detention procedures and use of force. He disarmed an armed robber, prevented potential murder, detained a wanted felon using textbook minimal force. The store owner immediately vouched for him. 2 other witnesses confirmed he was the hero. Security cameras recorded everything. The suspect had the stolen money, the stolen cigarettes, and the victim's wallet. Officer Derek Thompson arrested James anyway, handcuffed him, detained him, treated him exactly the same as the armed robber he'd just stopped. Why? Because Thompson saw a black man on top of a white man, and his brain couldn't process hero, only threat. This will cost the city $11.8 million, end Thompson's career in law enforcement, and prove that even being a decorated combat veteran who properly stops a violent crime doesn't protect you when an officer decides your race makes you the suspect. Comment below if you believe veterans who step in to stop crimes shouldn't be treated like criminals. 8:45 p.m. Thursday evening. Singh's Corner Market, a small family-owned convenience store in a quiet suburban strip mall. The kind of place where the owner knows regulars by name, where people stop for milk on the way home, where nothing dramatic ever happens except the occasional lottery winner. Rajesh Singh had owned the store for 15 years, immigrant from India, built his business from nothing, worked 7 days a week to support his wife and 2 teenagers. Good man, honest businessman. He'd been robbed twice in 3 years, so he installed an extensive security camera system, 6 cameras covering every angle, exterior, entrance, aisles, counter, back room, all uploading to cloud storage in real time. James Mitchell was a regular customer, had been stopping by 3 or 4 times a week for 6 months, ever since he moved to the neighborhood. Always friendly, always respectful. Singh knew James was former Marine because of the veteran ball cap James usually wore. They'd talk about James's criminal justice classes at community college, about his upcoming wedding, about Singh's kids. That Thursday evening, James stopped by after his evening class. Routine visit. Buy an energy drink and some snacks before heading home to study. He was wearing jeans, a t-shirt, his Marine Corps veteran ball cap, carrying a backpack full of textbooks. 8:47 p.m. Tyler Brennan entered the store, 28 years old, white male. Wearing a dark hoodie with the hood up, black face mask, sunglasses at night, body language tense, purposeful, no casual browsing. Walked directly to the counter. James was in the back aisle looking at snacks when Brennan entered. Noticed the suspicious appearance, former Marine training kicking in automatically. Assess, evaluate, watch, 8:48 p.m. Brennan pulled a .38 caliber revolver from his hoodie pocket, pointed it at Singh. Open the register, now. All the cash. Singh's hands went up. Please don't hurt me. Take what you need. Maria Gomez, a customer near the chip rack, saw the gun, ducked down, pulled out her phone to call 911. James heard the threatening tone, peered around the corner, saw the gun pointed at Singh. His mind immediately processed the tactical situation. Armed suspect, 2 civilians in danger, gun currently pointed at store owner, suspect distracted with register, back toward James. Weapon in right hand, focused on money. Decision made in seconds, based on 12 years of Marine Corps training and 3 combat deployments. Intervene while suspect is distracted. Disable threat. Protect civilians. Use minimal necessary force. 8:49:30. Brennan turned from register with cash in his left hand, $340 from the register. Gun still in right hand. Turning toward the door. James moved. Silent approach down the aisle, 6 feet away. Brennan didn't hear him. James closed the distance in 2 steps, grabbed Brennan's gun hand with both hands, twisted the wrist using standard disarming technique. Gun fell to the floor. Brennan tried to pull away. James used the momentum to take him to ground, face down, James's knee on his back, controlling both arms. No strikes, no excessive force, just control. Textbook detention. Stop resisting. Stay down. Don't move. Singh came around the counter. "Oh my God, thank you, thank you!" Maria Gomez emerged from hiding. "You saved us!" He was going to shoot. James stayed calm, professional. "Sir, call 911. Tell them robbery stopped, suspect detained, weapon on floor, no injuries." Singh called 911. "This is Rajesh Singh, Singh's Corner Market, 2847 Oakwood Boulevard. We had an armed robbery. A customer stopped the robber. Robber is detained, gun on floor, no one hurt. Please send police." The dispatcher said officers were 3 minutes away. James maintained control of Brennan, proper detention hold, no excessive force, just enough pressure to prevent escape. Brennan was struggling, shouting, "Get off me! This guy attacked me! I didn't do anything! You pulled a gun on these people. I watched you rob this store." Maria Gomez was recording on her phone. "I got video of the whole thing. This man saved our lives." James asked her to secure the weapon using a tissue so she wouldn't contaminate fingerprints. She placed it on the counter away from everyone. 8:54 p.m. 2 patrol cars pulled up, Officers Derek Thompson and Lisa Martinez. Through the window they could see inside the store, a black man on top of a white man on the floor. And in that moment, in that single visual impression, Officer Thompson's brain made a decision that would cost him his career in the city nearly $12 million. Thompson entered first, hand moving toward his weapon. He saw James, a black man, on top of Brennan, a white man, on the floor. Saw the positions, made an assumption. "Police, don't move!" James responded immediately, calmly, professionally. "Officer, I'm James Mitchell, former Marine. I stopped an armed robbery. The suspect is detained. The weapon is on the counter. The store owner can explain." Singh was already rushing forward. "Officers, yes, this man saved us. The robber—" But Thompson wasn't listening. His weapon was now drawn. "I said don't move. Hands where I can see them." Martinez drew her weapon, both officers pointing guns at James. "Officer, I'm going to slowly release this suspect and stand up. I'm not armed. I'm a former Marine. I stopped this man from robbing the store." "Stay on the ground. Martinez, cover him." James complied. "Officers, I'm releasing the suspect now." He carefully released Brennan, raised his hands, slowly stood. Brennan immediately started his performance. "Thank God you're here." "This guy attacked me. I just came in to buy cigarettes and he jumped me." Thompson to James. "On the ground, now." "Officer, I'm a U.S. Marine veteran. I witnessed an armed robbery. This man pulled a gun on the store owner. I detained him using proper procedures. The store owner and other witnesses can confirm." Singh was shouting now. "Officers, no, he's telling truth. That man is robber. He had gun. This man saved us." Thompson to Singh. "Sir, step back. We're securing the scene." To James. "I'm not going to ask again. On the ground." James complied, got on the ground, hands behind his back. Thompson handcuffed him. The cuffs were tight, unnecessarily tight, painful. Brennan kept performing. "I want to press charges. That guy assaulted me. I'm a victim here." Martinez approached the counter, saw the gun. "Thompson, there's a weapon here." Singh desperately trying to explain. "Yes, that's robber's gun. He pointed at me." "Took money from register." Thompson searched James, found wallet with ID, phone, keys, textbooks, and backpack, Marine Corps veteran ID card. "What's this?" "My military ID. I'm Sergeant James Mitchell, U.S. Marine Corps, honorably discharged." Thompson examined the ID like he was inspecting a forgery. "Yeah, well, we'll verify that." Maria Gomez stepped forward. "Officers, I saw everything. That man in the hoodie robbed the store. This man stopped him." "I have video." Thompson to Gomez. "Ma'am, we'll take statements. Right now, I need you to step outside." Martinez searched Brennan. Found $460 in cash, the $340 from the register, plus the $120 from Singh's wallet. Found a carton of cigarettes from the store. Found Singh's driver's license. "Thompson, he has a lot of cash on him, and cigarettes that aren't paid for, and someone else's license." Brennan's story shifted. That money is mine. I was going to pay for the cigarettes. That guy must have planted that license. Singh was frantic. That's my license, from my wallet. He took from register. Thompson looked at the evidence. Gun on counter, cash on Brennan, stolen items, Singh's ID, 3 witnesses all saying James was the hero, Brennan was the robber. James showing Marine ID, calm, respectful, compliant. Brennan's story making no sense, and Thompson made his decision. We're taking both of you in. Let detectives sort this out. James tried once more. Officer, this doesn't make sense. Check the store cameras. Everything's recorded. We'll check everything at the station. James was placed in the back of Thompson's patrol car. Brennan was placed in the back of Martinez's patrol car. Singh was still protesting. Officers, please, why you arresting man who saved us? He did nothing wrong. Sir, this is standard procedure. We secure everyone involved and sort it out at the station. This is not right. I call my lawyer. But the cars were already pulling away. James Mitchell, decorated Marine veteran who just stopped an armed robbery and detained a wanted felon, was being transported to jail. In the same convoy as the armed robber he'd stopped. At the police station, both men were taken to holding cells. James requested his phone call. I'd like to call my attorney and my former commanding officer for verification. You'll get your call. Just wait. Both men were fingerprinted and photographed. Brennan's fingerprints came back with hits, active warrant for armed robbery in the adjacent county. 2 prior armed robberies, wanted felon. Detective Marcus Williams was assigned to the case. He pulled the store camera footage within 15 minutes, watched James enter normally at 8:45. Watched Brennan enter suspiciously at 8:47. Watched Brennan pull a gun and demand money. Watched James intervene with perfect technique. Watch James control Brennan with minimal force for 5 minutes until police arrived. Watch police arrive and arrest James. Williams interviewed Singh. That man saved my life. Robber had gun pointed at me. James Mitchell stopped him. No one hurt, gun secured, and police arrested James. I was screaming at officers, he saved me. He is hero. They ignored me. Williams interviewed Maria Gomez. I saw the gun. I thought we were going to die. James Mitchell saved us, and police treated him like the criminal. I was screaming, that's the hero, that's the robber. They wouldn't listen. Williams went to find Thompson. Why did you arrest Mitchell? I secured the scene. Black male on top of white male, weapon nearby, needed to sort it out. Did you look at the camera footage? We secured the scene first. Did Singh tell you Mitchell stopped the robbery? Victims are often confused in high-stress situations. Did you see that Brennan had the stolen cash, stolen cigarettes, in Singh's wallet? We found evidence on both individuals. What evidence did you find on Mitchell? Thompson paused. His ID and school books. And you arrested him anyway? I made a judgment call. Your judgment call arrested a decorated Marine veteran who stopped an armed robbery. Release Mitchell immediately. 10:15 p.m. James was released. Detective Williams personally apologized. Mr. Mitchell, you were wrongfully detained. You acted heroically. You should never have been handcuffed. I understand officers have difficult jobs, but I showed ID witnesses vouched for me. The evidence was clear. I was detained for over an hour while the actual robber got the same treatment. You're absolutely right. This was mishandled from the moment officers arrived. James returned to the store. Singh was waiting with his wife and 2 teenage children. Singh hugged him. Thank you for saving me. I'm so sorry police arrested you. This is terrible. I hire best lawyer for you. We sue police. This cannot stand. James Mitchell had wanted to be a Marine since he was 10 years old. Grew up in Detroit. Tough neighborhood. His father worked construction. His mother cleaned office buildings at night. They didn't have much, but they had values. Service, honor, sacrifice. James enlisted at 18. Boot camp at Paris Island, infantry training. He was good at it. Physically strong, mentally disciplined. The kind of Marine who excelled under pressure. First deployment to Iraq at 20, combat patrol, firefights, IEDs. He learned what it meant to depend on the Marines next to you. Learned what it meant to make split-second decisions that determined who lived and who died. Second deployment to Iraq at 23, more intense. Third deployment to Afghanistan at 26, the worst one. The firefight that earned him his Purple Heart, shrapnel from an IED medevaced to Germany, 3 months recovery, return to duty. Earned his Bronze Star 6 months later for actions during a Taliban ambush. He became a hand-to-hand combat instructor, teaching younger Marines how to disarm opponents, how to control threats, how to use minimal necessary force. The techniques he taught saved lives. His Marines went into combat knowing how to protect themselves and others. 12 years of service. Sergeant when he got out, honorably discharged at 32. Not because he didn't love the Corps, because he wanted to build a life, get married, use his GI Bill for education, maybe become a police officer or federal agent, use his skills to protect civilians the way he'd protected his fellow Marines. He enrolled in community college, criminal justice degree, straight A's, engaged to his girlfriend of 4 years, working as a security consultant, saving money, building toward a future. And that Thursday evening, when he walked into Singh's corner market and saw a gun pointed at an innocent man, all his training kicked in. 12 years of Marine Corps instincts: protect, serve, act. He did everything right, assessed the threat, chose the safest moment, used proper technique, minimal force, no injuries, weapon secured, threat controlled, and he was arrested for it, handcuffed, detained, treated like a criminal. Not because he did anything wrong. Because Officer Thompson looked at him and saw a black man first, a threat second, and never considered hero at all. Within 24 hours, the incident had reached the police chief's desk, not through internal channels, but through Rajesh Singh's attorney, who filed an official complaint and a media inquiry. And by 48 hours, the local news had obtained the security footage through a public records request and broadcast the entire sequence showing James Mitchell stopping an armed robbery and being arrested for it. The 6-camera security system captured everything in HD with clear audio and timestamps, showing James entering the store as a regular customer, Brennan entering with a gun, the robbery in progress, James's textbook disarming technique, his professional detention of the suspect using minimal force, police arriving and immediately drawing weapons on James while ignoring Singh's desperate explanations, James being handcuffed while Brennan still had the stolen money in his pockets, and Thompson refusing to listen to 3 witnesses all saying the same thing. Rajesh Singh gave interviews to every news outlet that asked, describing how James saved his life and was arrested for it, how he screamed at officers that they were arresting the wrong man, how Thompson ignored the gun on the counter and the cash in Brennan's pockets and the wallet with Singh's ID and every piece of evidence that made the situation crystal clear. Maria Gomez provided her cell phone video showing James maintaining proper control while Brennan shouted lies and Singh begged police to listen. David Chen, who'd entered after the robbery, testified that Singh immediately told him James was a hero. James's military records were reviewed by both Internal Affairs and the media, showing 12 years of exemplary service including 3 combat deployments, expert marksmanship qualifications, hand-to-hand combat instructor certification, military police training, proper detention procedure training, use of force continuum training, and a service record without a single disciplinary action or complaint in 12 years of service. The Marine Corps issued a statement supporting James, with his former commanding officer, Lieutenant Colonel Robert Hayes, providing a detailed character reference describing James as one of the finest Marines he'd ever served with, noting his Bronze Star was earned for protecting civilians during a Taliban ambush, and his teaching ability had trained hundreds of Marines in proper force application, making him uniquely qualified to intervene in exactly the situation he encountered at Singh's store. Officer Thompson's personnel file was reviewed and revealed 2 prior excessive force complaints, both involving black individuals, both dismissed as unfounded by Internal Affairs with minimal investigation, and statistical analysis of his arrest record showed he arrested black individuals at a rate 3 times higher than white individuals in similar circumstances, despite working in a district with relatively balanced demographics. Tyler Brennan's criminal history expanded as investigators dug deeper, revealing not just the 2 armed robberies he was wanted for in the adjacent county, but a pattern of escalating violence, drug charges, weapons violations, and parole violations dating back 8 years, making it clear that James had detained a dangerous repeat offender who likely would have committed more robberies and potentially hurt or killed someone if not stopped that night. Community response was swift and overwhelming, with veterans organizations rallying behind James, civil rights groups calling for Thompson's termination, and residents holding vigils outside Singh's store in support of both Singh and James, while online the hashtag #VeteranNotCriminal trended as thousands shared the story and expressed outrage that a decorated combat veteran who properly stopped a violent crime was treated like a perpetrator. The police chief ordered an immediate internal investigation, but public pressure and media scrutiny forced him to request an independent review by the state attorney general's office within 1 week, recognizing that internal affairs had already failed twice by dismissing Thompson's prior complaints without adequate investigation, and the attorney general assigned a team of investigators who would spend 3 months building a comprehensive case. The investigators interviewed every witness multiple times, obtaining consistent statements from Singh describing James as a hero who saved his life, from Gomez describing the terror of seeing the gun and the relief when James intervened, from Chen confirming the immediate aftermath, and from Detective Williams describing Thompson's dismissive attitude when confronted with overwhelming evidence of James's innocence, with Williams testifying that Thompson showed no remorse and continued to defend his actions as appropriate scene security. Security footage was analyzed by use of force experts who confirmed James used textbook minimal force, exactly as taught in military and law enforcement training, noting he controlled Brennan without strikes or weapon use, maintained proper positioning to prevent injury while ensuring control, continuously assessed the situation and adjusted his response, and demonstrated the kind of professional intervention that law enforcement hopes civilians with training will provide in violent situations. Thompson's pattern of dismissing evidence emerged as the central issue when investigators discovered he had also disregarded witness statements in both prior excessive force complaints, with complainants describing similar scenarios where Thompson made immediate assumptions based on race and refused to revise those assumptions when presented with contradictory evidence, suggesting not isolated incidents, but a consistent pattern of racial bias affecting his judgment in high-pressure situations. The district attorney reviewed the case to determine if criminal charges against Thompson were warranted, ultimately deciding that while Thompson's actions were reprehensible and violated policy, they didn't meet the threshold for criminal prosecution, but the decision sparked controversy with civil rights advocates, arguing that false arrest of a citizen who stopped a violent crime should carry criminal penalties, leading to legislative proposals for enhanced accountability in similar cases. Internal Affairs faced its own reckoning as investigators questioned how Thompson's 2 prior complaints were dismissed without adequate investigation, revealing that the officer who reviewed both complaints was Thompson's former training officer and friend, creating obvious conflict of interest that should have required recusal and exposing systemic failures in the complaint review process that allowed biased officers to protect their colleagues rather than holding them accountable. 10 weeks after the incident, James filed suit. Mitchell v. City Police Department, Officer Derek Thompson, Officer Lisa Martinez. Claims included false arrest, violation of civil rights under 42 U.S.C. Section 1983, racial discrimination, intentional infliction of emotional distress, defamation, and negligent training and supervision. The evidence was overwhelming. Security footage played in court showing the entire sequence. Jury watched James enter as a customer. Watched Brennan enter with a gun. Watched the robbery. Watched James's professional intervention. Watched him control Brennan for 5 minutes with perfect technique. Watched police arrive and immediately treat James as the suspect. Witness testimony was consistent and powerful. Singh testified with tears in his eyes. That man saved my life. Used his military training. No one hurt. Gun secured, and police arrested him. I was screaming, "He saved me. He is hero." They ignored me. They treated James like criminal, while real criminal was standing right there with my money in his pockets. Maria Gomez testified about the terror of hiding behind the chip rack with a gun 15 feet away. I thought we were going to die. James Mitchell saved us. He was so calm, so professional, and then police arrived and treated him like he was the criminal. I was screaming, "That's the hero. That's the robber." They wouldn't listen. Detective Williams testified about Thompson's resistance to evidence. I reviewed the footage within 15 minutes. It was crystal clear. Sergeant Mitchell stopped an armed robbery. Every witness statement was consistent. The physical evidence was all on Brennan. There was zero probable cause to detain Sergeant Mitchell. When I asked Thompson why, he said he needed to sort it out, but there was nothing to sort out. Military experts testified about James's training and the appropriateness of his intervention. Retired Police Chief David Santos provided use of force analysis. Sergeant Mitchell's intervention was textbook, minimal necessary force, proper restraint techniques. His actions likely prevented serious injury or death. Officer Thompson's decision to arrest Mitchell defies all logic and proper police procedure. The defense tried to claim Thompson acted appropriately given the information available. The prosecution destroyed it. Officer Thompson, when you arrived, what did the store owner tell you? He was yelling something. He testified he was yelling, "He saved us." That's the robber. Did you hear that? It was chaotic. Did you listen to what he was saying? I needed to assess the situation myself. When Sergeant Mitchell showed you his military ID, did you believe it was real? I wanted to verify it. Did you attempt to verify it at the scene? No. When Tyler Brennan was searched and found with stolen cash, stolen cigarettes, and Mr. Singh's wallet, what did you think? There was evidence of a crime. Did you think Sergeant Mitchell stole those items? I wasn't sure yet. Sergeant Mitchell had none of the stolen property. Brennan had all of it. Didn't that tell you who the robber was? I wanted detectives to make that determination. Your personnel file shows 2 prior excessive force complaints involving black individuals. Do you have a problem with racial bias? No, I treat everyone equally. Yet here we have a decorated Marine veteran, 3 witnesses vouching for him, clear video evidence, physical evidence on the suspect, and you arrested the black man who stopped the crime. That's equal treatment? Thompson had no answer. The jury deliberated 6 hours. Verdict: liable on all counts. 14 months after the incident, settlement reached. $11.8 million, $3.8 million to Sergeant James Mitchell for false arrest, civil rights violations, emotional distress, defamation, and career impact from having an arrest record, even though charges were never filed. $8 million in punitive damages against the city and personally against Officer Thompson, sending a message that arresting heroes who stop violent crimes because of racial assumptions carries severe financial consequences. Officer Derek Thompson was terminated for cause. Cannot work in law enforcement in the state, personally liable for $250,000. His 2 prior complaints were fully investigated posthumously, both found to have merit, both victims offered settlements. Career destroyed, reputation destroyed, financial devastation. Officer Lisa Martinez received 90-day suspension without pay, mandatory 200 hours of bias training, permanent notation in her personnel file, and demotion from patrol to desk duty. She resigned 6 months later, unable to overcome the stigma of participating in the wrongful arrest. Systemic reforms implemented. Mandatory Good Samaritan training for all officers on how to identify and properly treat citizens who intervene in crimes. 80 hours of implicit bias training required with annual refreshers. New scene assessment protocols requiring officers to evaluate all evidence before making arrests in citizen intervention situations. Military Veteran Liaison Hotline for immediate credential verification. Independent Civilian Review Board for all racial bias complaints. Pattern monitoring system flagging officers with multiple similar complaints. Video evidence review, mandatory before arrests when witnesses dispute officer assessment. Singh's Corner Market became a symbol. The security footage is used in police academies nationwide as an example of how implicit bias can override clear evidence. Singh testified before City Council about the importance of listening to crime victims when they identify helpers versus perpetrators. James Mitchell finished his criminal justice degree and now trains law enforcement on recognizing citizen interventions. Married his fiancée. Still shops at Singh's Corner Market. He speaks at police academies, playing footage of his own arrest. Some officers understand immediately. Others need the irony explained. 12 years as a Marine, 3 combat deployments. I stopped an armed robbery using textbook technique. 0 injuries. And I spent an hour in handcuffs because Officer Thompson saw my black face and everything else became irrelevant. Rajesh Singh established the James Mitchell Scholarship for veterans studying law enforcement. Detective Williams runs the training division now, using this case to teach recruits about how bias overrides evidence. Thompson works retail, bankruptcy, divorced, career destroyed. During deposition, he finally admitted, "I saw a black man on top of a white man and assumed the black man was the criminal." Tyler Brennan is serving 15 years. James testified at his trial. The judge ruled citizens' arrest was lawful and proper. Now, here's what you need to understand. Your brain processes visual information in microseconds, matching it to patterns before you consciously think. Thompson didn't decide, black man equals criminal. His brain locked onto that pattern instantly, and everything after was defending his initial impression. He had opportunities to correct it. When Singh screamed, James saved him. When Gomez had video, when Martinez found stolen property on Brennan, when James showed military ID. At every decision point, Thompson could have admitted his assessment was wrong. He never did. Pride kicked in, defensiveness. So he doubled down rather than admit error. Here's your lesson. When you make quick decisions about people, supervisor confronting an employee, teacher dealing with a student, citizen witnessing something ambiguous, pause for 3 seconds. Ask yourself, what am I actually seeing versus assuming? What evidence contradicts my impression? 3 seconds. That's all Thompson needed. 3 seconds to listen to Singh, 3 seconds to verify James's military ID. 3 seconds that could have prevented $11.8 million in damages, 2 destroyed careers, and a decorated veteran spending an hour in handcuffs after saving lives. Thompson didn't just harm James. He created hesitation in thousands of people who might otherwise intervene. Every veteran wondered if helping strangers was worth the risk. That's the real cost of bias in authority. It's everyone watching who learns that competence and heroism don't matter if your face doesn't match expectations. When you're wrong about someone, will you have the courage to admit it before you destroy their life? Or will you defend your initial impression all the way to disgrace? The settlement was justice. The termination was accountability. But none of it gives James back the hour he spent in handcuffs after saving Rajesh Singh's life. This story proves that even decorated veterans who properly stop violent crimes aren't safe from racial profiling. But it also shows that when evidence is overwhelming and communities demand accountability, consequences are real. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next story.